Everyone loves the condo or HOA board that keeps dues low, right up until the day that everyone hates them. That right there is what you call the Oregon cycle. If you serve on a condo or an HOA board in Oregon, you live with a very specific type of quiet stress. That's the nagging thought in the back of your mind that, are we actually being fiscally responsible, or are we just one ice storm away from a total financial meltdown? Today, I'm gonna show you how to break that cycle. We're gonna look at Oregon-specific reserve laws, why our climate is your HOA's biggest villain, and a simple way to tell if your current plan is actually a ticking time bomb. And just a heads up, just because this video references Oregon's law and climate impacts on buildings doesn't mean it's inappropriate for other states. In fact, there's a lot you can learn from this if you live in a different state. First off, let's talk about the rules. In Oregon, reserve studies aren't a suggestion, they are the law. Under ORS 94.595 for planned communities like HOAs and under 100.175 for condos, you must maintain a reserve study and review it annually. That's the law. You have to have a reserve study conducted and actually updated every year. But here's the trap that I see a lot of HOAs get into. Oregon law is less prescriptive than states like California or Florida, even Washington. In Oregon, the state doesn't force you to hire a licensed engineer every time. Technically, a board can DIY their own reserve study. But just because you can doesn't mean you should. That legal flexibility is a double-edged sword. It puts the entire weight of the association's structural and financial health on your shoulders. If you miscalculate the remaining life of your siding, for example, or miss the rising cost of asphalt, the state is not going to bail you out. The homeowners will with their checkbooks. That means special assessments, which nobody likes. Before we talk about why these studies fail, let's make sure we're on the same page about what a reserve study actually is. A proper reserve study isn't just a spreadsheet, it's a two-part process. Part one is the physical analysis. This is the boots on the ground phase. Somebody, hopefully a qualified specialist, walks your property. They're counting every component your HOA or condo is responsible for maintaining. They aren't just counting the decks, they're grading their condition. They're estimating this roof has 5 years left, or that pavement has 10 years left in it. Part two is the financial analysis. This takes that physical data and applies the math of reality, so to speak. They look at your current bank balance, apply inflation rate, which is critical right now, and calculate exactly how much money you need to set aside every month or every year to pay for that roof in, say, 5 years. When you put these together, you get the cash flow method, a roadmap that ensures that when the bill comes due, the cash is in the bank account. If your reserve study looks like it was written for a building in Arizona, for example, you're already in trouble. In Western Oregon, we don't just age, we rot. We deal with constant moisture, moss, and that freeze-thaw cycle that wreaks havoc on pavement and foundations. If you're managing a building from the 90s, you probably know the villain by name, EIFS siding. That's exterior insulation and finish system. It's a type of siding that is notoriously bad. Or maybe you've seen what an ice dam does to a 20-year-old roof after just 10 winters. A standard reserve study assumes a useful life based on national averages. But in the Willamette Valley or out on the coast, those averages are a lie. A real Oregon study has to answer these three questions. Number one is, what do we own, right? What are the things that our community is responsible for taking care of? Number two is, when is the rain or ice going to break it? That's a known fact. Things just age faster under extreme moisture. And number three is, what is the actual cost to fix it in today's economy? If you aren't accounting for, what's called the Oregon factor, your reserve fund isn't the safety net that it should be. It's a shadow or a thick cloud cover over it. I want you to do something for me. After this video, go find your association's last reserve study. It's likely a 50-some page PDF sitting in a Google Drive or some physical binder in a drawer somewhere. Open it and look for a specific number called percent funded. Look for that, percent funded. 70% or higher, you're likely in the green, or you're at least close to it. You can probably sleep at night. 30 to 70%, you're really in the yellow. You're one major surprise away from a problem, and a major problem. And if you're under 30%, you're in the danger zone. Statistically, if you're under 30% funded in Oregon, a special assessment isn't a possibility, it's inevitable. The problem is this, that PDF you're looking at, it's already a tombstone. It was dead the moment it was printed, or at least the moment it was created. It doesn't know that labor costs just went up 15%, or tariffs caused the price of aluminum or lumber to go up by 10% because of some policy change. It doesn't know that you decided to delay the parking lot resealing by over a year. A static PDF cannot manage an ever-changing community. Let me say that again. A static PDF is already dead because it doesn't keep up with the changes your community makes. This is exactly why we built Solume. We realized that board members don't need just more paperwork or more information. You need dynamic visibility. Solume takes the data from your reserve study, the costs, the timelines, the percentages, and it turns it into a living, breathing financial roadmap, a dynamic tool that changes and updates with your community. When inflation spikes, you update it within Solume. When you finish the roofing project under budget, the system automatically recalculates your funding levels for the next 10 years. It connects your reserve study directly into your actual budget. For the first time, you can show your homeowners exactly why dues are what they are. You can show them that a $10 increase today will prevent a $10,000 bill in 3 years from now. It turns you from a board member who just collects the dues into a fiduciary who protects the property values and protects the integrity of the community. Serving on an HOA board is often a thankless job. You're managing people's biggest investments while trying to keep the peace. But you don't have to manage by guessing. You don't have to be blind or flying blind. If you want to see how to turn your static PDF into a strategy that protects your community, I'd love to show you Solume. Check out the link in the description. We can do a quick walkthrough of our reserve study features. No pressure, just a look at how you get your association out of the danger zone. Because in Western Oregon, the rain is going to keep falling. The only question is whether you've built a big enough umbrella. Just kidding, I know that umbrellas are frowned upon in Oregon. Thanks for watching. Book a quick 15-minute demo at solume.com or click the link in the description below.